go ahead and kick off the Facebook one as well. Go here. All right, I think we're live on Facebook. Again, welcome to day 4. We're already in day 4? It's been epic. It's been really cool. Okay, let me first say hi. So yeah, if you're just joining in, just say hi. So hello to Amy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. I'm not gonna make an example out of you today. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I might.
Actually, I was really excited yesterday when you did actually weekday versus weekend because those were some of the similar things that I put in my report in the end, and I felt like I
Yeah.
did it right.
Wow. Okay, I feel proud of you then. That's great. Yeah, I mean, um, I see some people who kind of get frustrated with like, oh man, I can do it this way, I can do it that way. There's so many different ways. Just give me one. And I don't know. I always grew up in kind of Microsoft land, and I'm so used to that. Certainly, growing up in Excel. Wow, did I just say that I grew up in Excel? I kind of grew up in Excel, I guess. And I love being able to do it different ways and just being able to evaluate, hey, which is better. So yeah, I'm glad for you. Hello to Carl. Carl Etch and Carl W. Both are here. And so is Heather Rowe. Hey, Heather, how are you doing? And Sachin is back. Sachin, sorry. I don't know why I say your name wrong.
That's perfect. No problem. That reminds me of my grad school 25 years ago.
When everybody was butchering your name?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, hey, if let me check what's going on YouTube. Is it working? Okay, I think that's working. Audio sounds good. Oh, and of course I forgot my stopwatch, but here we go. It's only going to be slightly off now. That's good. So let's see who is on YouTube. I'm excited for today. I got some exciting stuff for today. Wow, you guys have been talking. Stock Turner. I wonder if that's a handle, if that's your name. I have offended people by thinking their name was kind of a handle. So Stock Turner is there and has a lot of comments. Hello, Stock. We'll get to each and every one of your questions. I'm not going to leave till all the questions are answered. And wow. So Rick is back again. Welcome back. So is Whitesay. Day 4. Didn't solve my puzzle yet. Yeah, gosh, yesterday's puzzle, that was epic. And it was, kind of simple and elegant. I like it. I liked it. It was kind of bite-sized, but it can, kind of hold you stuck there for a long time as well. Peter Wester is here. So is Oli Schaefer. And again, if you're watching me live, just say hi. Just that way I know you're there. So let's get going. So I wanted to mention 2 things, maybe 3 things. So tomorrow is kind of a special event. Tomorrow, I'm running this training, Excel to Power BI, and I love talking about this. And this time, I got a little bold with my wording. Excel hell into Power BI bliss. We'll see. Now, of course, you guys are the in crowd. This is for everybody else. This is kind of my effort to reach out to a bigger audience. And sometimes I have to be controversial like this to get their attention. But you've heard me talk about this. There's really no kind of Excel versus Power BI. It's not really about moving from Excel to Power BI. All of that is just silly talk. The land that I live in the land where I use Excel and Power BI for what they're best at. So I use Power BI to build my models, and then I use Excel as a reporting visualization tool all the time. I do that all the time for my clients, for myself, and they would have their Power BI reports, which they use in their meetings and so forth. But then these finance folks, who, just as an example that I work with, they would have their Excel stuff as well. So that's tomorrow, 9 a.m. And just go to learnpowerbi.com. So yeah, my site has been taken over by that, and just sign up if you would like to attend that. So again, that's going to be pretty epic. Number 2, oh boy, this is exciting. This is cool. Number 2, so we had talked about day 5. Day 5 is Friday. So tomorrow you can join me for the webinar. I would love for you to join me for the webinar. So just go to learnpowerbi.com. Otherwise, if you want, you can use that as an implementation day. Try to apply, hopefully, just try to build upon all the progress we've made in these days. And day 5, this is the second time I'm going to be trying it. So this is the only time I've done it was December 1st, I guess. And you can see this was a 7.5-hour live, and it actually went longer. I spoke with another person who is in my course now, and after that as well. So all day live, and what's unique about this is that you get to talk to me one-on-one, but it's broadcast on YouTube. I know it's so essentially think of this as the Talk Power BI stuff that we do all the time, but you're going to be on the call with me, speaking to me one-on-one. So what we do is we book like half-hour slots or something like that. So you can check out in the past video, and that's going to give you some idea. But later in the call, I'm gonna kind of share the link with you of how you can sign up for day 5 for the Talk Power BI Marathon. Okay, so as usual, I want to start with a little bit of teaching, just get it in there. I don't know, but yeah, you've seen me. I get more excited when I'm solving your problems than teaching the stuff. As a trainer, I will say that you kind of get a love-hate relationship with AdventureWorks. I'm kind of tired of seeing this. Okay, so stock turner is really John. Stock turner just is, kind of secret. Well, no, John is a secret identity, and stock turner is a superhero. He masquerades as. So hey, John. Good to have you here. So sorry, I didn't get a chance to read through all this stuff. I will definitely do that. And if you have not already, so of course, what I've been encouraging everybody else is to join our Facebook group. That way. So this one is open. We also have a students group, but this one is open to everybody. And let me just look at this post and improve it. And you can post questions there. And the first thing people ask me, like, how do I share a file? And of course, don't share like sensitive information, but you can take that out and do something like something like this. You can just share it using a link. Google Drive works, OneDrive works, great. So head over to Talk Power BI and kind of post your question there. Okay, so today was supposed to be DAX, and I really went back and forth about what I'm going to teach. So I'm going to do something simple. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let's look at rank. So let's look at rank, and what I have here is my customer, full name, sales. Now this is what I call a working pivot, and don't even go there yet. I'm gonna talk about it in a second. But so we have customer sales, and we would just like to rank it. Now, of course, I have already sorted it, so I know that this person would be rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3, and rank 4, so forth. But let's just write the measure. So we go here, and did that work? Nope, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Okay, now it's good. So I'm gonna say rank. Maybe I can say customer rank. Just go with rank, and I'll say. Actually, let's try this. We1. Let's try that. So usually, well, I'll admit the first time I kind of tried my hand at it, I said rank, and I said, well, I do want to rank customer, so that part is kind of easy, right? Customer table. That's the table I'm ranking, and I want to rank it by sales, and I wouldn't go into the other options for now. And this would be V1. But of course it doesn't work, and I put it in the wrong table. So if I go in here, yeah, this is what you get. And let me just show you the version that does work, and we'll talk really briefly about why that's the case. So let's go new measure, and I think I already might have it, but we'll just say. So rank, same thing, rank X. And this time instead of customer, we'll say all customer. So clear all the filters and then rank it by sales. And I think I might have that measure already. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to add that one, but it's exactly how I define it here. And you can see, oops, let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. So this one works, and what's going on here? So if you noticed, rank is an X function. Now what that means is it's an iterator. It goes row by row. It goes row by row. So I'm telling rank in the first case. So imagine all wasn't there, and I said, oh yeah, go to the customer table and go row by row. Well, guess what? What is a filter context? And again, that don't let it be a scary word. It's just what is a customer table filtered to when I'm trying to calculate rank right here, kind of in this row, right? Well, it's filtered to this one customer. So rank X does what you tell it to do, and it says, okay, I'm going to go to the customer table, filtered by filter context, but it's just to one guy, one person, and ranking my sales. Well, guess what? They're always going to be number one, and that's why you get this repeating number one. And when we say all, now it removes this filter. So now again, it's over here, but remember the filter context, the filtered set of rows can be manipulated by different ways. Oops, I meant to, let's try that again. It's manipulated. So here it clears the filter context on customers. So now we just don't have this one customer. We have this long list. So it goes through all of them and says, okay, well, you are number one, you're number two. So now it's working. So that's that. But I want us to do just one other thing, and then we'll go to questions. Yeah, this time it's going to be fun. Which is, so again, so I talked about the working pivot. So this is how I often have something like this where I'm just defining the measure and I want to see kind of how it works. Fair enough. But I wouldn't display it this way. I would typically display it something like this. So I will have a customer report. So let's search filter onto one customer. So this is, and usually I make them, yeah, this is not a great report. I apologize for that. But I usually make them stand out a lot more. Actually, this is a horrible report. Sorry, I don't have a better example. But the idea is that, let me change this. So customer report, and I will, there are multiple Jordan Turners. Jordan Turner wasn't a good example. We can talk about how do you solve multiple people with the same name. That's an interesting problem. Probably more complicated than you would think it is. But for now, let's ignore that. And so I would say, hey, customer report, blah, blah, blah. And that's where I would throw in the rank. And that doesn't, wow, did I really pick the number one person? Oh, I know why. Okay, so ignore the aesthetics of the report, but the idea is, maybe I should have done, let me do this. Sorry guys, just 1 second here. So I'll say sales, and here, let me add rank in there. Where did that go? Rank. So this is how I would use rank. Not this way. That's silly. That's I don't think I've ever shown it this way, because usually it's kind of meaningless. I mean, maybe you can show, but this is just the working pivot which I used, and then I would show it where I'm looking at a customer. Maybe I'm actually sitting down with a customer and discussing their data. I mean, that's frankly how we built our customer report for Microsoft. Like, hey, I'm sitting down with them. I want everything about them. And it'll say rank. And then we'll do one more thing, which is I also want to know. So sometimes, oh gosh. So this is their worldwide rank, I guess. How would you say a specific country? I know I've solved it for a customer, but let's just try that. So in this case, what happens? So if I filter on North America, so I'm gonna get rid of this rank v1 that wasn't working anyway. But notice that the rank is dynamic, and that's a great example of how measures are always dynamic, unlike calculated columns, which are kind of static. So if calculated columns, you can use rank as a calculated column, but usually that's a poor option. So notice here, if I filter to North America, it's now showing me Victoria as rank 1, which is kind of correct. But what if I also wanted to know Victoria's worldwide rank? Like, I know she's ranked 1 in North America, but what is her worldwide rank? Just to get a sense of that. How would we do that? So, well, for that, we can say something like this. So we'll say worldwide rank, and I'm a huge believer in just reusing. I almost think of my measures as Lego blocks. I've talked about in some of my production models, I have like 500 plus measures, but a lot of them are kind of these Lego blocks. I start with something simple, and once I've defined it, I don't go back to it. I just reuse it. So I already have rank, so I know I'm going to use that. So I already have rank, but what I want to do is just change the way it's calculated. And of course, calculate is your magic wand for that. So I'm going to say, yeah, calculate rank, but you know, take away any territories filter or any region country filter. And let's try that. So now we're looking at North America, and we know Victoria's ranked 1 in there, but where did my worldwide rank? Where did I put it? Budget table, of course. So now we can kind of see it side by side. And of course, that's typically not how I would show it. Typically, I would show something like customer report, and I'll say, hey, this is their worldwide rank. This is their rank in their country. This is their rank in their state, whatever you want. All right, awesome. So let's do this. Let me go back here, and let's go to 28. And I'm going to have to fix the stopwatch. Oh, well. So let's go on the phone first, and then we'll circle back on the YouTube. So on the phone, if you have anything, just speak up, unmute, and you can ask me questions, or if you have any thoughts, comments. Okay, because I know Stock Turner. I like that name now. It does sound like a superhero. What would Stock Turner do if that was a superhero? Okay. All right. So, hey, on the phone, you can pretty much unmute yourself anytime you like and chime in. All right. So you got, you know, that's no problem. Let's go to YouTube. So, John, let's get to your question. And I might need a minute to read through it. Let's go. 15, 19. All right, let's see what you're talking about. Did that work? Wait, I thought I pasted it in. Oops, that was bad. Oh well. How about a screenshot? That would work better. Ooh, cool. That was much better. All right, so just put a new question on Facebook about splitting complex. Oh, okay. I think I saw that where you're throwing the gauntlet at me. Splitting complex description in multiple columns. Hope you can resolve. Okay, let's start with that one. So I'm gonna go to the Facebook group, and I see your question. Okay. And wow, you have a file as well. That really helps. Otherwise, I have to kind of spend time just creating the data set. Differing number of elements. Aha. Okay. Okay, guys. So, hey, you know what? I'm just going to scroll through, see if anybody has any quick question. Fabian is here. Hello, Fabian. Hello from London. Missed most of you yesterday's session, but glad to be here today. Yep. So the recording is on there, and I also, you can see I'm getting better YouTube stuff. I created a playlist for all of these ones. So if you click on playlist and you go here.
Hey,
here,
I wanted to invite.
You will see, you know, it's kind of a one-stop shop to catch everything. You know, it's a day one recap, day two recap, day three recap, and of course I'm going to add this one here too. So that would be a good option. Glad to have you here. Loretta is here from Tampa, Florida. So guys, if you have any quick questions, because man, John's question might be a deep dive, we'll see. Looks like a deep dive. But if you have any quick questions, I want to address that first. I don't want you to wait for that forever. Okay, cool. So I'll keep an eye out. And again, on the phone, just feel free to chime in anytime. So let's download the file. Where is that? That's here. So I'm going to assume that this is kosher. Like we can share this. Well, you have already shared it publicly, pretty much. So let's go. 2018 0328. How time flies. Wasn't it yesterday when the year started? 328. It's kind of odd. Sometimes I look back and the days in my college. So my son is 14. So we were starting to talk about girls. Probably it's too late, but still. So yeah, it feels like that was yesterday when I was in high school or college. And at the same time, I can't remember what I did in the weekend. People ask me like, "Hey, how was your weekend?" I'm like, I guess it was good. I have no recollection. All right, so 328. And this one is John Stock Turner. Oops, I missed. And I can make this one a little smaller. And I'll probably do this in, so I will save this file. Wow. Oh wait, no, this is not it. This is it. Okay. This is with the source data that appears. And this is what I want. Got it. So yeah, so different rows are different types. Well, so again, human learning comes before machine learning. So like, how would a human do this? How would a human know that this row and this row is different? And again, before you kind of answer or say something like, duh, it's obvious, it's not obvious not to a machine. So sometimes we do that. We humans, right now, I think we're really smart. I mean, yeah, sure, there's AI and blah, 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 but I don't think it's there yet. So we're really smart without realizing it. And one thing that we have, with most machine systems don't, all machine systems don't, I'm not an AI expert, but which is intuition. So we make these intuitive leaps. Human being can intuitively kind of see that, oh yeah, these are different. But you got to break it down. So you almost have to dumb yourself down to the machine level and say, well, how do I really sense it? So I'm not sure. Maybe you know it because of the first 3 letters are capital. Do you know it because of the length? So let me see. So yeah, let me check in with some of the comments here. Oh, so White saying, I'm wondering what the solution is of the puzzle. Otherwise, I can't sleep tonight. So the puzzle, yesterday's puzzle, was solved in. So if you go in discussion, is this it? Yeah. So it was solved in the recap. Day 4 is that the recap? No, that's me live right now. But you know, so the playlist that I showed you, that has the recap, and that shows you, day 3 recap shows you the solution of the puzzle. Let's just go to it really quick. Oops, didn't want to watch later. Yeah, so it has a solution in there, and the file is in this thread. So if you go find, then you know, you got the file, you can download and check it out. Okay, cool. So White see how that question. Oops, didn't want that. And let me go back and see. Oh, Ollie has a good question. In fact, I think I was talking about the exact same thing with one of my students yesterday. Oops. Oh gosh, didn't want that. Ollie, we'll get to your question. Like, how do we? Yeah, how can you combine when your source is a PBX file? Georgie is here from Tatabanya, Hungary. Stock partner. We need to widen out the column. Okay, good. So let's go back and Oh, we need to widen that column. So yeah, so my question to John was like, how does a human know that this is different than this? How do I know? If somebody new is like, I mean, I don't know. This looks, yeah, you know. So let's say what I'm gonna go with is the first three letters are capitalized, right? Simple as that. So let's start with this one. I'm gonna tip, tip, tip. Yeah. Okay, cool. Tip, is it tip? No, sorry, it's TLP, whatever that stands for. So let's go to Power BI. So John, Stock Turner, I don't know. I'm watching too much Defenders these days. I'm all in the superhero mode. In general, I would say I'm a huge fan of superhero stuff, but I don't like when things are black and white. You know, I think I found kind of Superman pretty much boring all the time. Well, okay, when I was a kid, I loved it, but now not so much. It's more black and white. I love Defenders. Like, are they really the good guys? And I loved Avengers Civil War. That one is amazing. Like, who is the good guy? No idea. Okay, cool. So we'll go with this, and we'll call it input. So again, so it seems you're breaking this up using a different rule. So this one, we break it up into side, quantity, and then symbol, and then something else. Got it? Okay, cool enough. I think this is doable. Okay, let's go. Let me just save this file first. And if you're part of the challenge, I pretty much stick a link to the challenge accepted or challenge information page. And that page has a link to every single file that I worked on in this challenge. So 328, this one is... Okay, cool. And of course, so the way I see it, I don't really use the words Power Pivot, Power Query. I don't know, it's just kind of too confusing. I just say Power BI lives inside Excel in form of those add-ins. So you can do this in Excel. I generally do this in desktop because I know it's going to work for everybody. Anybody can download it. Excel, that dreaded question, which version of Excel has Power BI? Well, toss a coin. Hope it lands right. Okay, cool. So we got this. And so again, we're gonna detect. First thing I'm gonna detect is like which kind of row is it? Is it this kind of row? Is it this kind of row? And the order source could be TLP auto or blank. Okay, got it. So TLP auto or blank. Okay, we can do that. So let's go with that. Let me make sure I have his notes. Actually, you know what? Oh, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to make sure that I read through some of what he said here. So this looks like a trade, basic fields, with a complex option order. Okay, got it. 2 types. So that can be TLP. So the complex order, it sounds like, it can start with TLP auto or blank. Now I'm not sure if you mean like, can it be the real word blank? Oops, or not. Anyway, we'll just go with the assumption, but of course you'll see. I mean, you'll be able to solve it either way. So we'll say TLP auto or blank. Got it. Fabian, I see your question. Let me see how much progress I can make with John, and then we'll go here. I'm going to say add column. So by the way, transform and add column have a lot of similar menus, really similar menus. So, you know, date, time, and text and all that stuff. And of course, transform works on the selected column. It just changes that column itself. Add column adds a column based on that. So I want to add a column based on this one. So this one is already selected. And I'm going to say add column and extract first characters. Actually, maybe I should split it. I should split it by space because TLP and auto are different lengths. Earlier I was thinking about the first 3 letters, but auto is of course 4 letters, so that doesn't work. So let me just split it. Let me see if I can get fancy. All right, guys. So let's see if I can do it. And so again, you can do the split and then get it, but sometimes I try to compact them in one step, and it's kind of a trade-off. So if you compact it in one step, you're obviously making it more complicated, which makes it harder for you to understand it later on, which makes it harder for anybody else who might take that up when you're on vacation or you leave a job. But sometimes in a production query, I end up with like hundreds of steps, you know? So there, if you can combine like, I don't know, 100 down to 50, it becomes more compact sometimes. So it depends, straight off. So for one, let's try, I don't know, first word. Can I do this? Text dot split. And I'm never ashamed to look at the help. And sometimes I do it step by step. So this one, I can do this. And the trick here is when you see a hyperlink like this, and the same thing applies if you see an error. Don't click on that. It just does something weird. Don't click on the word itself. If you click on the side of it, then it'll show you at the bottom what the error is, or in this case, it's showing me the list value. So it looks like I did it right. So it did split correctly. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say, well, I want the first element, which is 0-based index. I think that's right. Let's try it. Oh, perfect. So bot auto, and so bot auto, and then I'm going to test it. So I'm going to add a custom column, and I'll just say complex order. Is it a complex order? Well, if the first word is TLP and it's case sensitive, of course you can, if you want to do a case insensitive match, then you can wrap both of these in like text dot upper or something like that, and that will become case insensitive. So if this is this, and I'm just going to copy it. So again, you know, basically we taught the human, and then we're teaching the machine. So how would a human detect it? Well, John told me that, oh, I look for the first 3 words, or the first word. If it's TLP, auto, or blank, then I know it's a complex order. So that's, now I'm teaching the machine the same thing. Really, guys, it's simple. I mean, I have to say, I know I'm not any extra smart. Yeah, and my talent, if anything, is to really break things down in simple terms so I can understand, and I just go very step by step, sometimes painfully so, but it's the same thing. I mean, sometimes my clients are kind of surprised when they see me actually work, and like, okay, well, you get there, Avi, but, you know, I mean, we see your approach. So, yeah, slow and steady wins the race, my friends. So, TLP, auto, and blank, and I'll keep an eye out on the chat, just in case I go... Bot means bot. Okay. Let's see. Oh boy, lots of comments. Multiple reports. Fabian has some question. Blank means there's nothing there. Oh, that one is tricky. So I would skip that for now. Ignore that for now. The TLP or auto means it was placed through different systems. Great. I've done it in Excel. Okay. BOT means bought or sold. Okay, got it. So I think we got this one. So we'll say then complex order. Great. Else, I don't know, simple order? Doesn't really matter. So this is oddly similar to the puzzle that Ankush brought us. You're going to see. I mean, you know, and maybe I should have stuck in... Okay. All right. So da-da-da-da-da-da. So we got... Oh, wait. This didn't work. I did something wrong. TLP1 sorry, that's capital I. Tip. Maybe it's a tip. TIP. So okay, now we got simple order and complex order. Great. And now you're gonna see we're gonna do something similar to what we did when we solved the puzzle. So if you look at the puzzle, let me see, day 3 recap. So what we did in the puzzle, what happened to... We split the table up into 2 and then brought them together. So we had these commingled date and pay, and we separated them and then brought them together. There was one, yeah, so here we go, right? So we separated that and then brought them together. So we need to do the same thing here. We're going to separate these two. So this is input, and I'm going to reference it. I don't know why I feel compelled to say it every time I do that. Like, great interview question, folks. So to ask your candidates, duplicate reference. If they don't know that, then you don't want to be talking to them. So this will be simple order, and we're going to do another reference, and this is going to be complex order, and I'm going to show you what is happening in the query dependencies view. So now we have, you know, these two are derived from there, but of course this is what we're going to do next. So in the simple order, I'm going to filter on this and say, oh, only keep the simple orders. Fair enough, right? So that's my simple order, and I'm going to do something similar in the complex order. And I'm going to say this one is a complex order. So again, if I'm right, so essentially, if you have like apples and oranges, it's kind of hard to deal with it. So now we simplify the problem. Now we know exactly how to deal with this one. So let's so maybe I'll just do one of these, and so split column by delimiter. Let's try that. Split column space each occurrence. I think 4. Okay, that looks good. Hit OK. And here I can plug in the names there. So I always recommend that you go to the view and turn on this formula bar, this guy right here, because what that's going to do is it's going to familiarize yourself with M over time. And you know, if you do it over and over again enough times, you're going to start looking at this and you're going to say, you know what, it's not that scary. And one day, so this is going to be like a big step, you're going to get in there and just muck with it. So that's what I'm going to do. Instead of, you know, kind of adding a step or clicking a button, I'm just going to muck with the M and change these names. So if I go back, so this one is side, quantity, symbol, and price. So I'm going to just do this in here. And I'll say it's not description 1. This one is side, was it? Gosh, short-term memory goes first. Quantity. Oh, I've forgotten now. Side, quantity, symbol, price. Let's see how many times it takes me. Side, quantity, and the only scary part is if you mess this up, there's no undo button as far as I know. Price. Great. Oh wait, I know what happened. The change type is complaining, which is usually a useless step anyway. Oh wait, sorry, I was doing it in the wrong place. So I wanted to do this in the split one. So let's try that again. Table.split column, and this is where second time is a charm, third time is a charm. I think it's my third time. Quantity, symbol, price. Okay. Yep. So side, quantity, symbol, price. And of course, we don't really need these words. Remove columns. So that's, hey, that's what I talked about in day 1. We used that, we needed that when we were filtering, but after that we could have gotten rid of it anytime. So now we have processed this one, and I didn't really look at the rules for processing, but for this one, but essentially, you know, you're gonna follow the same approach. You're gonna split it and then kind of rename the headers. There's some complexity here because if you split it on space, then you have to combine some columns. It seems like this one has a lot of space. So, but again, if you can teach a human, yeah, if you can teach a human, like, hey, here's how to do it, then you can teach Power BI. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here, John, and I can come back and handle the complex row as well. But and again, once you have processed that one, then you're just gonna say, merge as new, and you're gonna get the final result. Okay, so I'll save this file. I'll check apply, sure, and let's see. On the phone, Amy, Carl, Heather, Sachin. If you have any question or thoughts, comments, just let me know. All right, let's do this. Let's do 3810. Da, da, da. All he's saying, is it possible to integrate several sources in the same BBX file? Oh boy, I didn't read the question carefully. Yeah, this is straightforward. You can have pretty much as many sources as you need. So you can go to get data, and let me see if I have an example open. Oh, dang it, I don't. But you can go to town, you can click on get data. So on the phone, guys, there's a bit of an echo. See if you can.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a quick question if I could.
Sure, absolutely. Go for it.
Can you turn off that crazy change type behavior so it doesn't automatically do it? It drives me nuts.
Yes. Yeah, no, I wish I knew. I don't know if the solution release, but it does. It is irritating because it inserts itself at the oddest of moments and causes trouble as it did me. No, I don't think there is. I'm still struggling with how you add a date in Power BI, the model side, and it creates a hierarchy. There was a new feature to mark a table as a date table, and I thought that solved it, but maybe it didn't. So.
Oh, I know where it is.
Okay.
This is Amy. Your get out of there. It's in your options.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was driving me nuts too.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. You know, something's coming back to me.
Data load.
Date something. I remember it.
Try data load.
Data load. Oh, the auto date and time.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, I wish this was. So I know. Thanks for helping me with that. That's great. I wonder if I can save. So I wonder if I can create a file like this and save it and use that as a template. Because the thing that has annoyed me is that some of these options, like this is a file level option only. I would love it if this was a global option. But I think I can work with this. Thanks so much. That's great. So I can't crib about that behavior anymore. Cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, Carl. Sorry. No way out of that. So for Ollie,
well, you can get your peeps at Microsoft to fix that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Sure. I'll. I should tap into that more. They do listen to the MVPs and they're very responsive in that thread. But so yeah, I should put that in. Frankly, I mentioned some of my other peeves as well, and I'm like, gosh, why don't I just go to ideas.powerbi.com and at least submit it? That's the right thing to do, folks, my friend. Okay, so if that's the right thing to do, ideas.powerbi.com. So Ollie, you can connect to as many sources as you like, and it's pretty typical, of course. So I work with business users. This is folks in sales, marketing, operations, finance, and these guys, they are always connecting to an official source and official reporting system, whatever. Usually, whatever reporting system that is, Cognos and blah, blah, whatever, usually they become a data source to Power BI. So yeah, you connect to that, and then you're always connecting to some other thing. Maybe your own mapping. You're like, no, I know the official system shows it this way, but I like seeing it this way, or my department needs to see it this way, or maybe we had a recent change in the business or a reorg which is not yet reflected in the official system, but that's how I need to show it. And guys, under the hood, I think all companies are kind of the same. So when I started working my first job, one of the first jobs was at AOL, and within AOL I was in I think it was called Movie Phone. Yeah, this was back in the day when you would dial 777 film to get the latest showtimes. So that's where I was, and I looked at how they were run, and I'm like, I was kind of appalled. I'm like, wow, this is how they run. It's like one of those card towers. It's like ready to fall down any time. But pretty much every company I've worked in, it feels like that on the inside. So this was the truth at Microsoft. I mean, the finance teams, they were like, oh yeah, our official system doesn't have this. This happened, and we need to report it this way because my manager wouldn't want to see it the old way. And yeah, and you would hack together some SQL connections with Excel, with text, XML, JSON, whatever. So you can connect to all of that. Now, maybe I will answer the question I thought Oli had asked, was like, hey, what if your data source was a PBIX file? How does that work? Well, so PBIX file in general, they're all in the same category. So you can use, so obviously that one is a Power BI desktop file. Now you can have an Excel Power Pivot file. That's the same category. And of course, you can have the SSAS Tabular Server. You can have the Azure Analysis Server as well. And they're all what I call cube technology. And cube technology, which is they're built around reporting. So usually, contrast that with something that is called OLTP, which is online transaction processing. So this is like the classic example is it's kind of a transaction system where imagine a video rental business. So a customer comes to you, you pull up their record, they check out a video, that kind of stuff. Well, the Cube technology is built not for that, not for transactions like that. It's built for reporting, and all of them are pretty much the same. So whenever you're connecting to Cube as a data source, it's gonna be a little weird. Yeah, it's always gonna be a little weird because again, the cube is supposed to serve reports. You know, that's the function of the cube. But now you're saying, no, I don't want to report against you. I just want to use you as a data source. That always feels a little weird, but it can be done. And there are scenarios when that's what you're gonna do. In our scenario, again, the official BI team had put up a cube in a large company for the finance team, but it was missing some pieces, and the only way we could add those pieces was essentially just redo everything they were doing. So we would connect to them as a source, import the data. So let me just show you. So analysis services, which is again a cube technology. So if I connect to that, you can import it, but it's a little weird because if there are measures defined in there, they come in as columns, and then you have to kind of redefine your measures and stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into that because that's not really the question you asked, but you can absolutely connect to multiple data sources. All right, let's see. I think Fabian has a question, so I'm going to check that, and John, I'm going to get back and read through your comments as well, and I'll pause. So while I'm doing this, if you guys have a question on the phone, just let me know. Oops, why? Okay, got it. So let's say what time is it? Okay, if I have multiple reports, I gotta put the timestamp.
Avi?
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you connect to Power BI as a service, you can't get more data because it's grayed out. Won't let you do that.
If you connect to Power BI as a service, you can't import the data. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I had a situation where I thought, we've got information on a different server, and so I was using Power BI Desktop to upload that to the Power BI service, and then I thought I could go to a different machine in a different building and grab the data from the Power BI service, and then add some other data that was in an Access database. Yeah. But as soon as I grab the Power BI service, then it becomes a link and will not let you add more data.
That's right. So it just becomes a
sure
link. Well, so that again, as I said, that one is always going to be weird. I think you may be able to do that if you go from Excel. So if you go from Excel, then you can get a pivot table, and you would do like a flat pivot table and use that as a data source. That's the only thing I can think of. So it seems you're trying to get over some hurdles. You're trying to get data from point A to point B, but it's not easy. So you're exploring this as a route. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So let's see if we can try that really quick. So if you go to powerbi.com, and I'm gonna change this. So let's talk about this really quick. 4815. This was all right. I think so.
Yeah.
How to download, import / get data from a model published on powerbi.com. Okay, cool. So let's go here. So I'll do something like this. So I'll say analyze in Excel. I think I've already installed it. So interestingly, oddly enough, I've done this like many times, where I've connected to cubes. And again, the shortfall, so your scenario is different, but in my case, it'll always be that the cube was published by a BI team, you know, doing a lot of heavy lifting, and I was going, you know what, it's not enough. It doesn't get me all the way, so I'm just gonna essentially deconstruct a cube and rebuild it. So so I'll show you a little bit of how I would approach it. So we'll add sales, and again, if you have large data, then well, obviously it's going to be pretty challenging. I don't know if there's going to be another way to do it, but essentially we would do, I would like get really detailed here. So I'll pick in whatever date, customer key, and you can see it's already kind of slow. And of course, Excel does this thing which doesn't work for getting data out. And I'm almost afraid to add something else. But maybe we don't need that level. Maybe we need. Let's just do this country. And one other thing, product category. So again, I mean, this does struggle if there's lots of data, but I'll show you the idea. And then I would go in here and turn it into a flat table. How do you design report layout? Tabular, I think. And then we'll say repeat all item labels. And the last thing I do is turn off the totals. So yeah, I mean, this is the only thing I can think of right now. I mean, I have used this in different scenarios. So I'll have this one is connected to powerbi.com, or could be connected to any cube, and then I'll suck this into, well, typically Power BI again. I mean, give it a try.
Does that auto refresh when you update the Power BI service or not?
Well, so of course this is Excel. So Excel itself doesn't auto refresh, but it's got lots of tricks around it. I mean, of course, you can come in and hit refresh, or sometimes people do a macro where it refreshes when you open. You can do that kind of thing, or you can schedule a refresh using VBA macro or some automation, which just kicks off the file and refresh. You can do that. You can also refresh this using third-party tools, and the one that I typically use is called Power Update. So yeah, that way you can say Power Update, go to this file, just open the file, refresh, and boom. So it's pretty good at that. So yeah, so it's Excel. So Excel in itself, yeah, whatever. So yeah, as you know, so there are lots of different ways to kind of refresh this. Yep, that's would be the way to go. Could be one option. Okay.
And
cool.
then can you link to that file in Power Desktop and do all your
Yep.
other reporting in Power Desktop?
Yeah, I mean, Power BI Desktop is just another Excel file. Power BI doesn't know that this connects to that. Yep, all the data is kind of here and it's flat. Yeah, so you can just connect. You can just. So let's just for the sake of it, let's just try it. How it's going to look like. So I'm going to put this in whichever location. Obviously, I'm just going to throw it in here. 0180328. Excel connected to powerbi.com. That worked. And where's my Power BI desktop? So this is a John order, but yeah, you can just say Excel, point to that, and it's going to be good. Modify this one. Oh, I gotta close it. Yeah, so as far as Power BI is concerned, it's going to look just like a regular file. So
Okay.
you can slice and dice it any which way you want.
Now you can go get more data from elsewhere, like get data from an Access database and add that.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a regular file, regular model. You connect to Excel. Again, I think your problem could be the limiting factor sometimes in this is the size of the data. If it's too big, certainly if it's more than 1 million, it's not going to work because it's not going to fit into Excel. I mean, there are other tricks you can use. I think maybe. Yeah, but if the data set is not huge, then this will absolutely work. Yeah, so if I bring it in, it'll kind of suck in all the data in here. All right, but that's how kind of the real world looks like. It's never kind of straightforward. All right, let's get to Fabian. Quick question I have: if I have multiple reports in a workspace, oops, so we took a little more time. If I have multiple reports in a workspace and I'm sharing my Power BI content through Power BI apps, what do you think is the best approach? Single dashboard, multiple dashboards. Also, with multiple reports and dashboards, it becomes difficult to choose a landing. That's true. I almost prefer that I don't choose a landing because then they see, I think, everything that's there in the app. Otherwise, people just see that and sometimes they get fixated on that. I don't know. I would love to hear from the folks out there as well. So yeah, I mean, so if you need more context, I think I do have a video on apps and app workspaces. Apps. Yeah, there we go. Power BI apps and app workspaces. And it's great to distribute content to a large audience, as I say here. But would you do a single dashboard or multiple dashboard? So I think the landing page problem is separate. So let's break it down. So I don't think the single dashboard versus multiple dashboard is necessarily with sharing. Well, that just means, well, do you have different set of contents which shouldn't belong on a single dashboard? So I would decide that independent of anything to do with sharing. I would just think about, well, do I fit everything in the single dashboard? And of course, the things that I would think about is, well, how many tiles? I mean, is it lots and lots of tiles? And maybe that's okay. I mean, you can have a lot of tiles and just organize it, be very diligent. I mean, I've seen people do different tricks where they have like sections where color would change and something like that. They use images for that, and so you can clearly see. So maybe lots of tiles is not a problem, or maybe it is. Maybe you want to fit it on one screen. So Stephen Few talks about that, and that, don't think that scrolling is the answer. It's like endless scrolling, right? You can fit everything, because humans, we talked about how smart they were, but they're also not smart in the sense that we can't really retain that much information. I mean, once you scroll, you remember how hard it was for me to get those headers in, quantity, screen? Yeah, and you can blame my age, but I think it's all of us. It is hard. You may not realize how hard it is and how much information is lost when you have gone off screen. So you can't compare elements which are on page 1 and page 2 or which are down below. So that may be a criteria for you. And of course, the other might be just, you know, like what is being shown. Maybe you don't want to show kind of apples and oranges. I mean, sometimes you can do that. I mean, that's kind of the unique selling point for dashboards. You can bring in like, oh, this is the sales data, this is the marketing data. But you know, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want it focused. Maybe you want one dashboard focused on sales, focus on marketing. So I would decide that independently. And then, of course, when you share it, really the only question is that, how do I do this? How do you choose a landing page? Well, I'll say I personally lean towards not choosing a landing page, because then, yeah, I mean, people will get fixated towards that. Unless you have a hierarchy of dashboards. So there is one master one, and then underneath that, maybe you have like sales, marketing, something like that. Unless you have some clear or something similar where one is more important than the other. One is clearly the one that they want to see first. Otherwise, I typically don't choose a landing page. And you know, do you? Well, so right now, I think there's one workspace is one app. I'm pretty sure that might change. I don't know. I do know that Microsoft is thinking about, and they've gotten a lot of input about making that more flexible. Usually that doesn't matter. So guys, if you're just starting out, don't even worry about this stuff, right? Just get started. Just pull some data in. That's a great place to start. But I know that Microsoft, for one, they eat their own dog food. They use their own products. So yeah, I mean, and it's a large organization. I don't know, 130,000. It's crazy how big they are, and it's crazy how much of the organization is using Power BI. It's just insane. I mean, they're really adopting it, and that's a great sign, because if you know anything about Microsoft, man, you got to win the turf war within Microsoft before you can go out and sell anything. You know, nobody's going to back you if internally you're not succeeding. So internally, they have a very complex organization, so they're trying their best to say, hey, so they have all of these problems that you guys are having, pretty much, for a large-scale companies. Like, how do we do this? So they're looking into this. So would you do multiple apps? Again, I think that's like a different decision. You have to look at the content. Yeah, I don't think there's an easy answer for that. I mean, it's the lawyerly answer. It depends. Right? That's our answer to pretty much everything. So it depends. Yeah, but if there are some pain points here, I would say let Microsoft know. They've certainly heard from others as well, as I know. And but you know, just adding your own voice to it would help things. I mean, let them know kind of specifically the parts that are challenging. Like, well, I don't know. Maybe you want flexibility. Maybe what if? And I'll at the risk of being embarrassed if they just release this feature, that always happens with Power BI. What if there was a workspace? What if there was a workspace here, and you could carve it up? What if you could carve it up, or you know, you could kind of say, oh well, this is an app, and you could carve it up arbitrarily, and this is an app, and this is an app, right? That would be interesting. Well, and again, everything is a trade-off, because that would make it more complex. That would make it maybe a lot more complex, because now you're looking at an app and an app workspace, and you don't really know, like, oh, did I share this with that group, that with this group? But again, I mean, if Microsoft does do something like that, or has already done, hard to keep up with those guys, then I'm sure they would think that through. So hopefully that helps. Let's go in. And wow, we are in an hour. So you know what? So I know I want to respect your time. So guys, I promised that. So I do have. Let me see. Robert has some questions. Yogini just joined. Hello there. So we have been rocking and rolling, handling all these great questions, but and I need to get back to John, aka Stock Turner. Cool. But I don't want to keep you, you know, so I do want to talk about what I promised. So I said that we will I'll give you an invite for day 5. Where's day 5? Which is going to be, so again, if you've been in the Talk Power BI shows before, it's going to be like that, but it's going to be one-on-one conversations. And you're going to have dedicated time slots. So let's say John books the time from 9 a.m. to 9:30. John is going to call me on the phone. He can turn on his webcam if he wants. He can share his screen if he wants. And then we'll have a conversation. But of course, it's Talk Power BI, so it's going to be on YouTube. So, you know, he's going to be careful about what he says. No swear words and no sensitive data. He can't just share that screen. But he can talk to me one-on-one. So that's the way we've done it. If you check out, there's a recording of the last one, of course. That was 7 hours and 30 minutes on YouTube Live. And again, it'll go, if you notice, yeah, I had different, oh yeah, so perfect, great. So you can see that I had, interestingly, not the whole day was booked out. So it was kind of crazy. But yeah, I started talking with Peter at 9 a.m., then Kiran, and then Bill, and Mickey, and Steve, and Carl. So that's what that is about. And what I'm going to do is, hold on, just guys, give me 1 second. I needed to like flip the switch on this. So I'm going to put that link in, so let's see. So hey, this is open to students as well. So Carl, Heather, Sachin, if you want that, what I'm going to do is, let's see. So I'm going to stick that link in here. And this is the same link that is the challenge accepted page. But now it's going to have this new information. Okay. All right. Let me know if it works. I didn't get a chance to test it. But if you go to that link, it should have this section. And if you don't see it, then hit Control F5. I apologize, it's so geeky, but sometimes the pages are cached, and hitting Control Refresh just gets rid of the cache. So if you have the page cached, Control F5. But you should see this one, and let me test it right now. So it should look, is it going to work? Friday 29, oh gosh, this is not working. Hold on, guys. So don't book me on Thursday, 9 a.m. Let's see. Okay, this is looking good. So Friday, 30th. Don't book me on Thursday. That's when I'm doing the webinar. I don't know why it's open, but all of these slots are open. And let me kind of double check my calendar. And so don't book me on Thursday. Okay, and Friday. Okay, and I hope there's nothing in future. Yeah, that's good. So March 30th, and of course right now all time slots are open. If you're watching a replay of this and all the time slots are gone, sign up on the wait list and we'll try our best if there are cancellations or something like that. So guys, I'll say, so last time, one of our biggest problems was people not showing up. So if you're not certain you can make the time, just don't book it, right? I mean, just, right? Because I'm going to be live on YouTube and it's like super awkward. I'm there waiting for you. So yeah. So in fact, I ask you, like, are you certain you're gonna be there? So leave that spot for somebody else. So yeah, just that's just your time. And again, the first time, I really loved the experience. It was really cool. Had some problems, so I'm excited to be doing this again. So that's gonna be on day 5. And I also said it earlier. Tomorrow is I'm running a special training. So if you just go to learnpowerbi.com, you can also join me tomorrow at 9. And I'm going to be talking about Excel hell to Power BI bliss. That's supposed to be. Okay, cool. So just go to learnpowerbi.com. That's that. For now, you have the link in the chat window. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have trouble using it. And let me see. What's going on here? Sorry, I'm just And I would love to see at least one of you, if you're certain for that date. Where did that page go? Did I close it? Oops. Okay, what was I doing?
And this Friday is Good Friday.
Well, it's certainly good for me. Oh, wow. Sorry. So, I guess bad timing. So, people might be busy. Well, okay. I didn't think about that. But I doubt I could have done it on any other Friday recently anyway. Come on.
But I will volunteer to book.
Yeah, if you can, and again, so when I do it with a class, my calendar is just acting up. Come on. Oh, come on. Okay, I'll sort that out. But hopefully that is gonna work. So let's see. Thursday 29th. I don't know why is that showing up. Okay, cool. So let's go back and let's. So John, I'm gonna get back to you. But let me see if there are any other quick questions. I think there's a typo somewhere. Rick is talking about. Can't connect from mobile. Okay, that's a bummer. It should work. See if you can go to one of my reminder emails, and that has a link to the challenge accepted / challenge information page as well. See if you can open it from your email. Because I'm looking at what YouTube did. It made it like a YouTube redirect, so which is kind of weird. Okay, Yogini has a question. So guys, let's knock out Robert. I think this is maybe a simple one, although I've been fooled before. Okay, got it. So we will. So 01. So Robert is asking. We have built a data set that multiple stakeholders want to report dashboards built from, example, director, manager, supervisor. So Robert, the biggest thing is, and this is kind of revolutionary. I mean, this is like earth-shattering. You got to separate your model from the reports, right? You gotta do this. You gotta separate the model from the reports. And what the heck am I talking about? Well, to show you one example, this data set, AdventureWorks, this comes from a Power BI desktop file that I built on my machine. Fair enough? So this is Learn Power BI. And assume it's called AdventureWorks, right? So I built this, and in this file, model and reports are not separate. They're part of the same file. They live in the same file. The data is right there. My DAX is right there. My query editor definitions cleanup is right there. And the report is right there. You got to separate it. It's like, I mean, you just got to do it, okay? I mean, and once you experience it, one of those things, you're never going back. Never going back, my friends. So one way to separate that is to publish it on Power BI. So here I have the thing finally opened. So you have, right now you have kind of reports and it's all in there. But once you publish it, then you're free. You get freedom because now I have this model. This is my model. The data set represents the model. And you can't quite see the model in PowerBI.com. But your model is really pretty much everything except this tab. So ignore this guy. But the model is, this stuff, right? The data. It's in there. It's got measures, it's got definitions. That's your model. You can't see it online, but you can create multiple reports off of it. So now I can go to my model, to my data set, and if I click on it, this is a new report. This is a new report that I'm connecting. And let's say here, uh, and 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 so I have the whole model, and I can build a report for my directors, right? So I'm not going to do much here, but you get the idea. And this is connected to that single source of truth. Single source of truth. How amazing is that, huh? And not just that, so you can build a whole host of reports and dashboards, all for different audiences. You can build them however you want. And you can also build Excel reports. So if somebody comes to you and like, man, I love your Power BI stuff, but sometimes I just need a pivot table. Give me a pivot table. Well, you give them a pivot table. So you click Analyze in Excel. You open that. That opens up in Excel. And you connect it again to the single source of truth. And again, you can build in whatever. I'm not going to build anything useful here. But you get the idea. You can build in whatever you want and give it to them. And again, all of these reports can cater to very specific audience, and they're all connected to a single source. And at some point, you can enable them to create their own reports. Like, yep, I'm going to take care of the model. You go ahead. You want to change the report? Just edit it, make it your own. And of course, there will be standard reports which they wouldn't be allowed to touch, but they can do their own stuff. So that's the magic of Power BI. Hopefully that helped. Let's go back and let's see if I missed a question. I have a feeling I do. Okay, Fabian, thank you. Let me get to John, and let me see at least what he's saying. So if you go here, and we'll say 01 14 33. Well, I don't need to say it. Oops. Oh, blank means there's nothing there, so that was going to be a little tricky. The order was placed through the regular system. The TIP, I think, or auto means it was placed through different systems. I've done an Excel or Access by searching for the first word and then parsing out that word only to a new column for all similar records. Bought means bought or sold. If it's TLP or auto, then that is an order type. If first word is TLP, then order type is TLP. If first word is auto, cool. Yeah, I mean, of course. Okay, awesome. So, so let's see how far we can get with John's one. Let's just take another shot at it. So hey, if you're just joining, then we had this kind of input, which was apples and oranges. So this was wow, I didn't know that was pink. Ooh, nice. My daughter's gonna love that. Okay, so this was kind of apples and oranges, this kind of row, this kind of row. We separated them into simple order. And of course, in my data set, I only have 2 rows, but they can be 100, 100 million, who cares? Simple order, complex order. And this one, how are we going to do this? So we can, of course, split it by space. Man, this one is challenging because, let me see some of his examples. John. So I think there's maybe I'm not sure. So I think it looks like this part this date stuff maybe can be arbitrarily long. Let's try it. So TLP, like this one, it just has 1 date. This one has 2, 3, 4 dates. This one had, oh, okay. Okay, it's definitely solvable, but I'm gonna see if there are any easy ones which I can handle. Awesome, Robert. Yep, you're gonna love it. So Robert is saying he's gonna give that a try, publishing it, and that's just one way. If you don't like who doesn't like PowerBI.com, right? But somehow if you have limitations and you're like, you know what, I can't publish it there, then there are other options to publish it on-prem. Tons of options. SSAS is a great one. There's a Power BI report server on-prem. but it's truly liberating. For me, that was such a, I mean, it just put me on a different trajectory once I did that. I mean, the impact that you can have with the reports. So at Microsoft, my story was I was a business analyst, pretty much, cranking out reports for my manager, pretty much, and my team. And the hard thing is, I thought I was doing great. I thought I was like, yeah, the smartest Excel guy in around, and which I was. But now when I look back, I mean, that's not saying much, because yeah, Excel is a great tool. It's very flexible, but that's also its downfall, because it's not specialized, right? I mean, it's think about, there's 750 million people who use it for all sorts of different purposes, right? You would see all kind of crazy stuff being done in Excel. And that's the beauty of it. That's the strength of it. But again, it's also its downfall, because it's not specialized. Power BI is a data machine. It's built to kind of connect to multiple data sources, clean shape transform, bring it in, create your model, create your reports. Sole purpose. That's it, right? So let's go. And I see Yogita's question. Yogini. Sorry, I messed up your name there. Let's go to 1857. And Yogini, I would love to know where you're calling in from. And now I've gotten smarter and realized that screenshots are quicker. Although you can't search through them, so that's a bummer. Anyway. I have a model built in PBIX, published to service, awesome, great, and get customer to build a report. Wow, that's exactly what we were talking about with Robert. Yeah, that's you're awesome. The question is, if I update the model with some additional fields and publish, will this overwrite the original file? Yes, it will. That's the idea. Will this delete the visualization done by users? So good point. So when you publish this, well, this is a bad example, but when you publish this report, let's say it's called AdventureWorks, it's gonna create three things on there. Three things on there. I wasn't sure if you can see my hand. So three things on there. One is, so again, imagine a blank workspace. There's nothing here. There's just nothing here. And you publish AdventureWorks, you're gonna see one data set called AdventureWorks, and then you're gonna see one report called AdventureWorks. So for now, ignore everything else. And I suppose you would see, I think you would see one dashboard called AdventureWorks. And yeah, ignore, I kind of messed things up here. So you should see that, AdventureWorks. Now, so again, you only have three elements there. If they go in, if the users go in, and the one report that you see, AdventureWorks, if they start making changes to that, then that's the one that's tied to the model here. And when you upload it, it's gonna overwrite everything. And that's typically what you want. So what you need to tell them is that don't touch that one. Don't touch that one, your changes are gonna be lost. Okay, I don't know, put a warning, just let them know. Right, so, but what they can do is create their own report. So if they come in here and click on the data set, it gives them a blank slate and they can create their own reports. And let me just bring up the visual. And that's going to be a new report, and you're not going to overwrite it. It's going to stay there. It's going to just give me 1 second and bring up that visual. I like visuals. I mean, I would say I'm a visual person, but then who isn't, right? I mean, you would run into these finance folks who like seeing the numbers, but I'm not sure. I mean, I think sometimes they are overconfident in their abilities in there. You can always combine numbers with visuals. How about that? Everybody's happy. Okay, sorry, I digress. What I'm talking about is this one, like one of my favorite visuals. Right now, it's in PowerPoint. I want to get on a hot dial somehow. So the idea is that imagine you had the AdventureWorks and you put it online, and when you overwrite it, it is going to overwrite the data set called AdventureWorks is going to overwrite the report called AdventureWorks. It's not going to touch the dashboard, of course. Dashboard is a whole different thing. But and really, the Power BI desktop file doesn't have a dashboard. There's no dashboard in here, so it can't even override dashboard if it wanted to. But it does have the model and the report, so it's going to override those. But if your users had created Power BI reports connected to it, or Excel reports connected to it, or heck, Tableau or ClickView, whatever, you can connect whatever you want, then of course those are not going to be affected. And this is what I like. This is the world that I like to live in. So this is an amazing world, my friends. So for one, you have a single source of truth. Single source of truth, okay? So if you make a change here, if you do refresh here or fix an error here, it's going to reflect in all the reports. And your reports are really light. You know, they're lightweight. If you check them, they're not going to have anything. I mean, if you check this Excel file, it's going to be kilobytes. Even if your model itself is 500 gigabytes. Because they're dumb reports. I mean, they're talking back to the model, and they're just a visualization tool. That's what they are. And now you have the flexibility to have any visualization tool you want. And this is why I'm so sick and tired of this endless thing about Power BI versus Tableau versus ClickView, Power BI versus Excel. And I'll admit, guys, sometimes I encourage that. You know, so obviously in my webinar, I say Excel to Power BI, and which is kind of bullshit. But so sorry, I apologize for that. But sometimes you need that to get people's attention. They wouldn't listen to anything else. But if you hear my message, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, guys, stop the stupidity. Just use Power BI, build the model, because it's the best thing for there. I mean, Tableau, yeah, sure. Good luck with that, you know? I mean, this is what I hear from Tableau people. There was one person who was at a party, and he kind of nonstop talked about how, you know, they love Tableau. And at the end of it, he kind of said, you know what, I sometimes actually do prep the data in Excel before I bring it to Tableau. And I'm like, well, go check out Query Editor. It's going to save your life, right? So yeah, those discussions are kind of moot. Okay, you can see I get excited about this stuff. So and I suppose that's not even what Yogini was asking. So sorry, this is cool stuff. Wait, I think I did address your question. So again, so it's gonna update. It's not gonna overwrite any of the connected reports. So sorry, a long answer, but. Okay, let's see if she had another question. So I have many visualizations with lots of slicers. The customer wants them all in one page as a selection of the slicer applies to all the visuals. I tried separating it to 2-3 pages, but that means the user will need to make selection again. I'm happy to say that is no longer the case. I'm actually really happy to say that. This is so awesome. Guys, this is kick-ass. And interestingly, this has always existed in Excel. Right? I mean, Excel users, this is nothing new. So if I were in Excel, I could say, give me an year slicer, right? And I'm gonna copy this pivot just because I'm in a hurry. But imagine multiple pivots. Imagine beautiful reports. And this one is slightly different. Maybe it is not by calendar, it is by territory hierarchy, right? And oops, let's stick sales in there. So sales is 29 million. Why doesn't it have sales? Because I didn't put it there. $29 million, fair enough. And I click 2006, 7 million. Go to the second sheet. I'm not going to touch anything. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, 7 million. Sorry, I looked at cost and I'm like, what happened there? So, you know, yeah, so one slicer can filter multiple pivot tables. It can filter all your sheets. So this is like par for Excel. This is like not even news, you know? So, yeah, so 2007, 5 million, 5.7, 5.7. So now you have the same ability in Power BI, and that is so cool. That is so cool. So here, let's say I'm going to move myself away, and I'm going to find some spot. Maybe I'm going to put an year. So right now I have the page level filter. Let's get rid of that. And I'm going to say calendar year, stick that in here. So you can have one page full of slicers if you want. If that works, that's okay. So now I have slicer, and I'm gonna actually go on the other pages and make sure the age, I don't have the year level filter anywhere. Oh, this one has, oops, I don't know what was that. So if I go to customer, there's no filter. Actually, I can get rid of these guys. So time. And instead of that, I can have this one slicer, and the trick is to go where? Modeling, view, and say sync slicers. So I have my slicer selected, and then I'm going to go to view, and I'll say sync slicers. And once I do that, it pops up this pane, and I say, well, which ones do you want to sync it to? And I can say, can I say add wall? Wow, that's it. So now it's synced to everything. So notice, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the sales number everywhere, just so it's easiest to see. So sales is here. I'm going to put sales here, and on this page, and on this page. And now, from one spot, if I say show me 2014, it goes 7 million, but that should be on all pages. 7 million here, 7 million here, 7 million on this page, 7 million on this page, right? So it's synced, and of course you control it. You control it. If you're like, no, only sync to certain pages, you can do that. You can also make this visible. So in the same spot, you can say, yeah, I want it visible on all pages. So up to you. All right, so hopefully that helped. Sync slicers is the way to go. Ankush is here. Hey, good to have you join, my friend. Thank you for that puzzle again. I think a lot of people are spending some good time taking a crack at it. So let me just write a headline: sync slicers across pages. And this one is would updating model override reports. Got it. Oh yeah, so Ankush asking, does Power BI support regular expressions? I don't believe it does. There might be some Power Query function that that supports it. So if somebody knows any better than me, oh wow, so yeah, he's saying that can solve stock transfer problem. Yeah, so of course Excel has elements which support regular expression. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything kind of in DAX or query editor. Let me just do a quick search. Okay, actually, you know what? Let me just see how are we doing on the booking stuff. Okay, cool. So I think, hey, so some of you have booked the time already. I put the link in the chat box, and yeah, so you can book kind of one-on-one time with me if you like. This is for day 5. Just make sure that you're not a no-show. Yeah, so you make sure you can actually attend it. And I'm somehow unable to block Thursday off, so don't book Thursday. Friday is our Talk Power BI Marathon. And yeah, some spots are gone, but lots of, wow, I'm going till 6. That's crazy. I thought I was going till 5. I guess I'm going till 6. Yeah, go ahead and do that. And I'll stick that link again in the chat window. So that is so if you go on that link, you're going to kind of halfway down, not halfway down, right there on the first page, you should see this link, book your time. Okay, and maybe I can solve the Thursday problem. Ooh, Carl has dug something up around regular expressions. Let's check that out. This comes from our friend Reza, based in New Zealand. I think he's been on a world tour. He was speaking at the Data and BI Summit in Ireland. Power BI and regular expression. This is Philip Seamark. Oh, I've met him too. So this is not Reza. R script. Okay, yeah. No wonder I don't know this stuff. Yeah, R is just something which is not. Wow, this is really cool though. I don't know. Maybe this will be my inspiration to dive into R. If R, use R to use regular expression. Just run R script. That's so cool. Thank you, Carl. And I'm gonna stick this in the chat window and have you guys check it out. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Let's see. Okay, good. Actually, I'll put it here. Okay, guys. I say let's do this. And I think I'm already late for a meeting. Okay, now. So let's tackle this. I don't think am I brave enough to try this for now? I would not. But check that out. So let's solve it some other way. So the challenge here is, and maybe I can stick in some additional rows in there. So let's see. Oh, boy, I just want maybe just one. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 dates. And how many days does this guy have? 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Ah, okay. I want something different. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that? Huh. Maybe just one with the state. Weeklies sold. Let's just try it. So again, we want to split this data up, but there's this chunk of stuff. So typically we can split, I can look at this data and say, and again, human learning comes before machine learning. So how would a human do it? Typically, so a human would look for the spaces, right? Fair enough. And so TLP sold there's a space and blah, 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 keep going from there. But then notice this chunk here, right? Fair enough. And then there's the rest of the stuff. So this is the problematic part because this is variable in length. This can be smaller, as I'm seeing here. And I'm not sure about this weeklies thing. I don't know what to do with that. Weeklies. Let's just create a version of this, which is, and I'm just gonna mess with the data here because I don't quite understand what this is. 1 minus 1 minus 2 custom DIS 100, and I'll just say 28 March 18 and 30 March 18, and we'll leave that. Okay, cool. So let's go here, and we're gonna go back to our John Stock-Turner model and add one row in there. Let's see first of all if our simple and complex logic holds. So this one should be categorized as in complex order. So now I should see 2 of them there. I do. Awesome. So this is great. But now I need to somehow mark this point, and I need to mark this point. And actually, let's do it this way. So I need to mark this and this and this and this. And again, guys, if I get stuck, I will probably solve it offline as I solved Ankush's problems, which we threw on as a challenge. So that was yesterday, and if you watch the recording, you will see me, kind of flounder around and struggle. But once I got off the call, yeah, it's all, hey, it's high pressure under the lights, man. Okay, cool. So, wow. So again, for a human, how does a human do it? Well, we're intuitive, so we can look for these, and that's the name of a month. That's how I am doing it. And we can try to teach Power BI to do the same way, but I think that might be hard. So maybe we just count these up. So maybe we say the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, let's just split it up and see where we end up with. So I'm just going to say split column by delimiter. And this is actually space. And oh man, this is going to be hard because you might have variable length. So if you look at advanced options, like I don't know, maybe some row is going to have 25. But let's just give it a try. So till here we're good, right? Oh, I think I might have a plan. But then this is where it starts kind of being different. So I think we're looking for a number, a series of numbers. Okay, all right. So guys, I think this is deep enough that I may tackle this offline. But for now, let's call it a day. So I want you to remember, so first of all, thank you so much for participating in the challenge. And again, I mean, this is just day 4. So tomorrow, I'm running a special event. If you just go to my site, learnpowerbi.com, just go to learnpowerbi.com and you can sign up for that. That's tomorrow at 9 a.m. So it's a different time. Hopefully it still works. And that's going to be a webinar, so slightly different format. The good thing about the webinar is I can pretty much unmute anybody on that call. On YouTube Live, I can't do that. I know my students call in, but so on the webinar, I can unmute any of you. So of course, so I'm going to be there early, and I can talk to you and talk to you before kind of the webinar. And of course, I stay back later after the webinar for the Q&A as well. But so this is something. This is slightly a different flavor, because sometimes I feel that people get so lost in the tool and they fail to realize that it's not about the tool. There's a BI expert, Dave Wells. I was lucky enough to have a chance to chat with him, and we were talking about this, and I asked him, well, what's the number one mistake that organizations make when they're going for kind of self-service BI or Power BI? And he said, well, they think it's about the tool. They think the tool is a magic wand. And that's not it. It's simply what it enables you to do. So this one, I want to pull you up out of the weeds and kind of make sure you have the big picture. You have that, hey, man, because stakes are high, right? Or, hey, our lives depend on it. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we spend more time working than we spend with our family, right? Isn't that true? I mean, certainly true on weekdays. So this is important stuff. Let's make it count. So so this one kind of takes that approach. So that's tomorrow. Just go to learnpowerbi.com and sign up. And then on Friday, we're getting back again and doing this all-day marathon. And you can book your time slots with me. So if you just go to the link that I shared in the chat window here, or just go to the, I'll put this out in an email as well. And you can just click on this and you can book kind of a time slot with me. So there's a maybe I'll put the link right here so you can see what it's like, but it's on my YouTube channel. I shouldn't have closed that window, but yeah, so you can see I did it on December 1st. I call it the Talk Power BI Marathon, and the key there is that you are okay, not this one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this guy. 7.5 hours, is that you're going to be kind of one-on-one with me on the phone, and well, I'll try my best to answer your questions, and you can ask me anything. You can ask about career advice, whether you're in a company or in a consultant role or whatever. You can talk about overall strategy of deploying Power BI. You can of course bring me a specific Power BI question, pretty much anything. You can use it however you want. So that's on Friday. Yeah, that's about it. All right, my friends, power on.